Well, hello, I'm Dr. George Kazanas. I'm Superintendent of Schools at Midway ISD, and we're here today to talk about a new change for Midway High School coming in the 2013-2014 school year, and that change is an 8-period day. And I'm here today with Mr. Jeff Gasaway, our principal, and 2 students. I have Mr. Ellis McCormick, who is going to be a junior, I believe, next year at Midway High School, and Lindsey Trout, who's going to be a senior next year. And we're going to talk to you all today about some of the rationale that went into an 8-period day, some of the thought process, and some of the benefits, as well as get a perspective from 2 students and how they went about deciding courses for next school year and what they think about an 8-period day. So, Mr. Gasaway, I want to start with you in this. Can you kind of remind me and remind our audience about what were some of the thought processes that went through and some of the ideas that you shared, not only with myself but with the Board of Trustees about wanting to have an 8-period day?
Some of the reasons that we decided to move to an 8-period day for next year, one of them is to offer students an opportunity for more choices. It gives students, many times I hear that students would love to take another class if they just had one more period. They'd like to take a CTE class or a Project Lead the Way class with our science department, and they just aren't able to fit everything they want to do. We feel like at the high school level that this is a great opportunity for students to get their feet wet on a variety of things. And so one of the big driving factors was student choice. We also look at that our demographics are changing, and some of our families are responsible for, some of our students are responsible within their families to help out with their household, whether it's after school childcare or getting a job. And so this will open up for our juniors and seniors some opportunities to have release periods where they maybe could go get a job before school or after school. And one of the last things that was a driving force was that our students, with the new end of course assessment from the state, we have the need to provide accelerated instruction during the school day, and this is a great opportunity, opening the 8-period day, to address that accelerated instruction during the day.
Yeah, obviously there's several reasons why this would benefit students next year. One of the things, though, also that a parent may have a question about is, are we really changing the time, the start time and the end time of your school? What's that going to look like, Mr. Gasaway?
The start time and end time will be the same it is this year. We will start at 8:10, we'll end at 3:40. The class periods are going to be reduced by 5 minutes, so every class period will be 45 minutes, and there will be a 5-minute passing period. That's a little bit of a change. But we feel like that our students will be able to be successful. One other change is that we'll be moving from 4 lunches to 3 lunches, but they'll still be the same amount of time for students to eat and get through, and we feel like that with all those changes, the students will be able to be successful, but also we were able to add that additional 8th period without having to add 1 minute to the day.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that this benefits students by opening up different elective possibilities, looking at our career and technical education classes, maybe looking at all the offerings that we have in extracurricular programs like fine arts or athletics. Also, students that may have a part-time job particularly may need to be off first and second period or a last period, 7th and 8th period, and either arrive to school late or leave early. And also, as Mr. Gasaway mentioned, we're looking at end-of-course exams. This will allow our students a class period to maybe make up if they're not unsuccessful in one or more of the end-of-course exams, so that they're on track to remain on track in order to graduate on time.
Yes, sir.
But okay, those are some of the reasons from the school, and I was always very interested, though, now that we've had students looking at the course catalog and planning for next school year, what their impressions of an 8-period day are. And as I told you, I have Ellis here to kind of tell us about his thought process when he was looking at next year being a junior. So Ellis, why don't you tell me a little bit about your thoughts and impressions of an 8-period day?
Well, as Mr. Gasaway said, I would definitely say the 8th period day is good because there is a lot of issues with people wanting to take an extra class and not having time. Because in high school you have to devote to one thing, because most people have been starting in choir, band, or art. They've been doing it since the 6th grade. They can't really do anything else, and if they suddenly don't want to do that, they've got nowhere else to go and do that. So they can do CTE classes, and then say I'm probably going to double up my sciences next year, or if I want to take an extra CTE class that we have, because we have a huge amount of those at Midway. That so many people are underutilized.
So what use. CTE is career and technical education classes. So what is one that's piquing your interest the most right now?
I'd love to get welding because my parents have been telling me since one of them's a college educator and one of them's a teacher that they both they say it's great to have a trade skill and to have a degree.
academic skills.
Yeah.
And you're talking about doubling up in science. Is that a career interest of yours or a major?
No,
in college?
it's just next year might have extra time and could definitely.
And so what classes are you looking at next year?
I think I'd do AP Physics and AP Bio
Okay.
together, because I hear a lot of people do that. So.
Okay. Okay. Since you brought that up, you may take an AP Physics and an AP Biology. Of course, some parents may ask the question, then of course with an 8-period day, then maybe many students would be motivated to take more academic classes instead of maybe looking at the electives. Mr. Gasaway, what kind of advice do you have when you're posed that question? In terms of, as you can see the scales behind us here, what kind of balancing act do you advise parents when looking at courses?
The big thing is to find what your student is interested in, find what they have the time to commit to, and just try to find the right fit for them. This is an opportunity for them to explore options, and so I would just advise to do your best to have it be a family decision, to look at all options and just weigh what they feel like is in their child's best interest. And so that'd be the direction I would.
Because like Ellis said, Midway High School does have a huge array of classes that are offered in terms of electives and different courses that students can take that are on a wide range of scale of interest. And so I would think too, sitting down at the kitchen table, it would be important to determine if that academic course is vital. Is that setting the child up in their college application or their future goals? Also looking at, though, maybe there are a course that they've always wished they could dabble in, maybe a computer class or a photography class or yearbook, things like that, and maybe could someday lead to a career that they never even thought that they might be interested in. So, Lindsey, tell us a little bit about your experience with an 8-period day and your thoughts of scheduling for next school year.
When I first heard about it, I really had mixed feelings about it because I was excited about being able to take more classes. However, I came into high school and got down to business, so I actually only have to take 3 core classes next year, and that's all I'm required to take. So I now have 5 classes that I have to fill up, but it also gives me the opportunity to explore different areas that I never thought about. So I'm sticking with theater, which I've always done through high school, and I'm actually going to be taking 2 classes in that area. But now I'm also branching out and going into things like medical terminology and classes that are more career, like directed towards careers. That way I can really figure out what I want to do once I get out of high school.
Yeah, I would think a byproduct is your parents may appreciate you trying those now instead of when you go off to college and actually paying the tuition bill for those and changing your minds. Because one thing too that I think all 3 of you are talking a lot about though is that Midway High School, we mentioned that we have a lot of courses, but we do have the formalized program called Academies of Study. And there's a myriad of courses within each one of those academies. And I think, Lindsey, what you're talking about, you've kind of been in that theater art program, but now you may branch out and look at maybe one of the other strands, one of the other academies.
Correct.
Okay, very good, very good.
Lindsey, if you don't mind me asking, have you thought about, with you only having 3 required courses, have you thought about the release periods and maybe taking a couple of release periods?
I have, because I do need a job because, you know, I don't have like a huge college trust fund or anything, and so it's definitely going to help me get through college for sure. Being able to get out of school and work, make some money.
Very good question. Right, so in terms of now also this is just I guess a question of just being in the halls and being, getting a heartbeat of the school. What are your peers saying? What are your friends or folks that you associate with talking about it this 8-period day?
I think they like it. I definitely think a lot of people like that. The ability to take a lot of extra classes they would not be able to take because they're so limited by, we require a foreign language, which is great, mind you, but that language can take up an extra elective that wouldn't be something they would normally have, and you could keep that language and still have another to take, and then. So yeah, I think people like it.
So you're saying maybe finish the requirements for one of our graduation plans with 1 foreign language and then have the opportunity to take another language,
yes.
Maybe Spanish and sign language, for example. Good. What about you, Lindsey?
My friends are loving the idea. They're a lot like me, and they want to get out and explore all the different things that Midway can offer, and really get their feet wet in all areas, and then decide what their heart belongs to, and then go on that path and continue.
Good. Well, as you can see, both of these students are very articulate young people, and just put those that are watching this, you just heard Lindsey's looking for a job, so hey, what a better way then to put your name out there for a future job. But in all seriousness, I want to thank them and Mr. Gasaway, and always encourage our parents, if you have questions, please consider Mr. Gasaway and his counseling staff are more than willing and very helpful to answer your questions, and they want to look at your concerns or your questions and on an individual basis, and love to sit down with you and your child to talk about the schedule for next school year and hopefully alleviate any concerns that you have. So I want to thank the three of you for allowing me to interview and talk more about this new change for Midway High School for next school year.